Mr. Behera wants to know how to analyze the risk of a mutual fund scheme. And on a related note, Vinod wants to know how can value research portfolio manager help him reduce the risk in his fund portfolio.
Uh, the way to look at risk is, risk is different for many people. The most, academic risk measurement happens as a measure of volatility. That may not be the risk. One is the if you have to measure the risk of a fund, we come up with a risk grade, which is the relative volatility of the fund measured entirely on the scale of downside. We ignore the upside. We just take into account the negative, uh, you know, the fall potential of a fund and compute it. So if but all our risk grade is a matter of, you should look at it purely in that category. When we are referring to a risk grade of very high in the small cap fund, which means among the small cap funds, this has turned out to be the fund which falls most often. Likewise, very low risk grade in that category means that it is the least, it is that fund happens to be the least propensity to fall. And so one should look at it, it should be looked upon as a filter to, choose funds in respective category. Now, how can value research help you reduce risk? Uh, we have, two, three things which you can look at. One is that by virtue of putting all your fixed income funds as well as fixed income instrument and all your stocks and stock funds, mutual funds, yeah, it becomes difficult for investors to arrive at what is their asset allocation. Value research portfolio tracker, aggregates all your investments, your PPF, your employee provident fund balances, your NPS investment. All of that is aggregated, and based on the underlying portfolio, we provide you an asset allocation, so you exactly know what you own. You will see that, you might think that you have a lot of equity fund worth 15 lakh rupees, and once you put your PPF and EPF, you realize that you actually have only 20% of your money in equity. So understanding the right asset allocation, looking at the risk grade of all your funds at one place, looking at the rating of your fund at one place, looking at annualized returns of your funds at one place. The value research portfolio manager provides you all the key inputs to reduce the risk, or maybe, embrace more risk, because it gives you a clarity of understanding of all that you own.